Have you ever felt the ground shift beneath your feet without warning? Imagine walking into your community center, the buzz of activity filling the air, the clatter of keyboards, the murmur of colleagues, everything in place. And then, silence. The moment your world flips upside down. A pink slip, a betrayal whispered in hushed tones behind closed doors, the harsh truth, everything you've worked for, fought for, is slipping away. Addison Walker, 31, has spent 6 years at Harbor Point Communications, 6 years of hustle, of securing million-dollar deals, of climbing the ranks with a relentless drive, earning the respect of clients and peers alike. But today, it all comes crashing down. Victoria, the cold, calculating face of the company, sits across from her. Her icy stare pierces through Addison's resolve. "I consider this disloyal," she sneers, the words slicing the air. The truth is, Addison never saw it coming. One moment, she's standing proud, holding every achievement she's earned. The next, she's stripped of her title, her dignity, and her future. "Security will meet you at your desk," Victoria says, her tone devoid of emotion. "Your building access is revoked. You can collect your things, but that's it." Addison feels the heat of injustice burning in her chest. Years of loyal service, countless hours of hard work, all for this moment of betrayal. 3 years. 3 years of asking for a raise. 3 years of seeing budget excuses while profits soared, only to be met with empty promises. And now, nothing. Addison breathes deeply, her mind racing, but her exterior calm, composed. She stands tall, straightening her blazer. "I understand," she replies, her voice steady, despite the emotional storm inside. Victoria's face falters as if expecting anger, tears, a breakdown. But Addison surprises her. She extends her hand across the desk, offering the grace and dignity she had earned, even in the face of betrayal. "I wish you and Harbor Point continued success." The air feels thick with tension, a moment frozen in time. Addison knows this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something bigger, of finding her worth outside the walls of Harbor Point. Because no one can break someone as resilient, brave, and ambitious as Addison Walker. Addison Walker, 31, had been fighting for success for 6 years at Harbor Point Communications, pouring heart and soul into her career. But today, everything fell apart. Victoria, the calculating face of the company, cut through Addison's hard-earned achievements with a few cold words. "I consider this disloyal," she sneered, handing Addison her walking papers, stripping her of everything she had worked for. The job, the respect, the future. Gone. And just like that, Addison was escorted out, her desk cleared into a cardboard box, her spirit unbroken. Walking out, she felt the warm April sun on her face, but a deeper heat smoldered within. She had been dismissed, but she wasn't defeated. As she slid the box into her car, a buzz from her phone startled her. An invitation from David Kleen, CEO of North Bay Solutions. "Can we move our final discussion to today, 2 p.m.? Addison smiled. Was this the twist of fate she had been waiting for? The drive home felt surreal. The box in her trunk a reminder of all she'd built, all she'd given. From entry-level coffee runs to handling multi-million-dollar clients, Addison had earned her place. She remembered when David Kleen had personally requested her, after she'd saved North Bay Solutions from a disaster. That's when the relationship between their companies flourished. But now, Victoria thought she had won. She was wrong. In this moment, Addison realized something crucial. No one can break someone as resilient as her. This wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of a new chapter, and this time she would write the narrative on her terms. Rain tapping lightly on the window, the scent of coffee lingering in the air. Yet, nothing about this moment feels warm. Addison Walker sits quietly at her desk, a modest corner in a bustling community center, eyes glued to her screen. But then, through the thin wall, she overhears the voices, sharp, clipped, calculated. Layoff. budget cuts, underperformance, terms that cut through her like steel. Her heart stings with the truth she dared not face, her relentless hustle, her ambition, her sacrifices. None of it is enough. This isn't just about losing a job, it's betrayal, by the very company she poured herself into. How fragile is loyalty, really? Who's got your back when the tide turns? Addison feels the world shift beneath her, her dreams teetering like a house of cards in a storm. And yet, her jaw tightens. Her breath steadies. She's been here before. Resilient, brave, ambitious beyond measure. It's not the end. It's the start of something new. I'm processing, I replied honestly, sinking onto a kitchen stool, feeling the weight of the world crash down around me. It all happened so quickly. It's completely unfair, Olivia exclaimed, her voice rising with indignation. Everyone knows you're the only reason North Bay has stuck with Harbor Point this long. Victoria's just intimidated because you're better at your job than she ever was. There was a sting of truth in her words. Victoria had once been the company's shining star, a top account executive before stepping into management. Many of us suspected she missed the limelight, often inserting herself where she didn't belong in my meetings with North Bay. The worst part is how she did it, I said, anger flaring inside me like a wildfire. It felt like I'd committed corporate treason just by seeking new opportunities after being overlooked for advancement for 3 long years. It's her loss, Olivia replied firmly. And honestly, Addison, maybe it's for the best. You've been undervalued there for ages. She was right. I had clung to my position out of loyalty, not just to my clients but to my colleagues. But to be fired like this, escorted out by security as if I were some kind of criminal, that cut deeply. Then my phone beeped, an incoming call. David Clean. Olivia, I need to take this. It's North Bay. Go take it. Call me afterward, she urged before hanging up. I took a deep breath and answered. Addison, I just heard what happened at Harbor Point, David said, skipping the pleasantries. Are you available to come in today? I'd like to accelerate our conversation. My heart raced. A glimmer of hope ignited within me. Yes, I can be there at 2 p.m. as you suggested. Excellent. And Addison, don't worry about what happened this morning. Sometimes these things have a way of working out for the best. After hanging up, I peered at my reflection in the kitchen window. The woman, staring back, wasn't defeated. She was being set free. I showered and put on my best suit, the one reserved for pitching new clients, a suit that held the promise of new beginnings. As I buttoned my jacket, the weight of betrayal hung heavy in the air. I felt my fists clenching, holding back tears. The sounds of the clinking dishes around me echoed my anxiety. What would happen next? Doubt loomed over me like a storm cloud. Suddenly, my phone buzzed on the table, lighting up with that unfamiliar name. Could this be the call that changed everything? As I applied my makeup, a strange calm washed over me. Victoria thought she had punished me with that abrupt termination, but maybe, just maybe, she'd done me a favor. The humiliation of that morning, yes, it stung, but clarity followed. I had poured my loyalty, creativity, and countless unpaid hours into Harbor Point, and how had they rewarded me? With disregard and dismissal. Whatever came next, I knew this for certain. I would never again give my all to those who failed to acknowledge my worth. It was time to reclaim my power. As I approached the North Bay Solutions headquarters, the gleaming glass building in downtown Philadelphia shimmered against the urban skyline. Unlike Harbor Point's dated community center with its beige walls and worn-out furniture, North Bay was a breath of fresh air, an emblem of modern design with expansive open spaces, collaborative pods, and walls bursting with natural light. Riding the elevator to the 30th floor, I rehearsed my points in my head. How could I explain my sudden availability without sounding bitter? Professionalism was key, even while navigating uncomfortable territory. The elevator doors opened, revealing David Clean himself, standing in the reception area. "Addison," he greeted me with warmth, extending his hand in a reassuring gesture. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." David, a man in his early 50s with distinguished salt and pepper hair, was known for his brilliance and fairness, qualities I had come to value deeply over our 3 years of collaborating. "I appreciate the flexibility," I replied, my own hand clasping his firmly. "It's been an unexpected day." "Let's talk in my community center," he said, motioning for me to follow him into the hustle of the workspace. As we passed familiar faces, North Bay employees I recognized from our account work, nods and smiles greeted me, a stark contrast to the isolation I'd felt just hours earlier. David's corner community center was modest, not the high glamour spectacle that Victoria flaunted, but it felt infinitely more welcoming. Comfortable seating was arranged for dialogue rather than intimidation. "Coffee?" he offered, and I nodded while catching my breath, grounding myself. Once we settled in with steaming mugs in hand, David leaned in. "So, let's get straight to the point." The tension in the room hung thick, charged with unspoken possibilities. As I took a sip of coffee, the rich aroma filled my senses, mingling with the tension of the moment. What would this conversation spark? Would it lead to an unexpected alliance or further uncertainty? As I braced myself for his words, the air buzzed with potential. Now was my moment to shine brightly, to harness the storm within me. The call came in early this morning. Victoria Sanders, the one person I thought had my back. But now she was telling me I was being pulled off the North Bay account. Her words stung like a slap in the face. "I'll personally handle the business until we find a replacement." I could feel the anger bubbling up inside me. Of course, Victoria would want to snatch up our biggest client, but she didn't know the half of it. David, sitting across from me in his modest community center, watched me closely. "What she doesn't know," he continued, "is that we've been concerned about our relationship with Harbor Point." The words hit me like a bucket of ice water. Concerned. But our last campaign had blown projections out of the water, up by 23%. The results were stellar. "Yes," he agreed, "because of your work. But we've noticed changes at Harbor Point, delayed responses, quality slipping, and a sense that they're taking us for granted." I sat there, processing, barely able to breathe. Was he implying what I thought he was? "3 months ago," David said, leaning in, "our board suggested we explore other marketing partners, but I resisted, because of you. You've always understood our brand, our needs. It's more than just a business relationship." I blinked, stunned. Could he be saying what I thought? Then he dropped the bombshell. "When you reached out about potential opportunities here, it felt like perfect timing. But to be clear, we never planned to poach you." He smiled slightly. "Your professionalism has earned this moment. Victoria's decision just made our move a little quicker." David slid a folder across the desk. I opened it to find an offer letter. Director of Client Strategy. The air in the room was electric. My heart raced. Was this the break I had been waiting for? Could I leave behind the betrayals and false promises? Or was I about to walk into something even more complicated? I could feel the tension, the weight of this decision pressing on me. The room felt small, and yet the choices before me loomed larger than ever. Addison Walker sat at her kitchen table, fingertips trembling over the offer letter. The glossy paper shimmered slightly in the rain-scented air, the scent faint but sharp, reminding her of storms just beyond the window. She glanced again at the bold, enticing salary figure, almost double her current pay at Harbor Point. Her heart quickened. Was it too good to be true? The offer promised stability, growth, a clear path forward. But something, it was subtle, nagged at her. Why now? Why her? Her phone buzzed, annoying and persistent. Her eyes darted to the screen. Texts flooded in from colleagues. The news of her firing had spread fast, blurring into rumors of community center politics and betrayals. Then a familiar name appeared, Her former boss, David. Why had he reached out? Not for a friendly check-in, that much was clear. There was a calculated rhythm to the message. Build and lead a team. Manage external partnerships. The words sounded promising, but her instincts prickled. Her fingers paused on the paper as she grappled with the truth. This was no ordinary offer. It was a trap with a shining veneer, a move designed to keep her close but at a cost. To her, the day felt heavy. Outside, rain tapped rhythmically against the window. Inside, her world teetered on the edge of change. Did she accept the tempting promise? Or was this just the beginning of a new game she hadn't yet fully understood? A silent question hung in the air. How much does loyalty really cost? In the dim glow of her kitchen, Addison Walker. The conference room's hum dissolved into an eerie silence. Then, suddenly, a sharp, deliberate click. The door swung open on its own. An empty chair in place of her boss stared back at Addison Walker. The scent of cold coffee, mixed with something unspoken, lingered in the stale air. A single sheet of paper fluttered onto the table, caught by an unseen breeze. No wind, just a whisper of anticipation. The note scrawled in hurried ink. They're watching. Ready or not, the truth is coming. Addison's pulse quickened. Her mind spun. What's next? Has everything she trusted just unraveled? Is this betrayal, or the start of something darker? A warning, or a trap? Her eyes flicked across the silent room. Every surface shadowed, every possibility cloaked in doubt. Behind her, the city's rain-drenched streets echoed with the chaos of economic upheaval, dreams slipping through cracks in the system. Inside, this tiny room became a battleground, loyalty against suspicion, ambition against the unknown. And then, nothing. Just hush, deepening suspense. Are they finally exposing what's behind the curtain? Or is this just the first step into a web far more tangled than Addison could have imagined? One thing was clear. The game had changed. The question now, how far is she willing to go to find the truth? The community center space feels frozen in time. Metallic coldness of the air conditioner. The faint hum of fluorescent lights clicking overhead. Victoria's community center. Now just a shadow of itself. Her chair slightly creaks as she leans back, recalling a moment that still stings. She flicks through a folder. Sharp, calculated, detached. The endless paperwork, the dismissive tone of her boss's words, disloyalty, the accusation, ring in her ears. She remembers the silence after they dismissed her. No apologies, no explanation, just a cold vacancy in her role. That moment, so small yet seismic, marked her shift. Her fingers trembled slightly as she sat alone, clutching her pride, vowing to rise. Outside, the storm's scent drifts in, rain tapping rhythmically on the window's glass, echoing her pounding heart. That day, her world cracked open. Betrayal wasn't the end. It was the ignition. Flashback fades. Now, Addison Walker stands tall. The corporate betrayal echoes in her mind, but she feels something different. Power. Her resilience isn't just survival. It's an unbreakable resolve. Every detail sparks. Her calm face, her measured voice. She knew corporate ghosts would come haunt her, but she's ready. Her ambitions burn brighter than ever. The city's chaos is an undercurrent. Dreams slipping through cracks, economic instability biting. Yet, here she is, in that moment of clarity, knowing her next move could shape everything. The game has changed. She understands the stakes. The question isn't just about getting ahead anymore, it's about standing tall when everything's collapsing around her. As she gathers her strength, the truth beckons, bold and unforgiving. The path ahead? It's hers to forge. As Addison Walker steps into her sleek new community center, a faint flicker of doubt crosses her mind. Could the betrayal at Harbor Point have just been the beginning? The scent of freshly brewed coffee mingles with the sharp edge of uncertainty. Down the hall, murmurs drift like whispers from her past, tugging at her resolve. Her eyes lock onto the unopened email blinking relentless on her screen. Urgent update from Harbor Point. Her hand hesitates, hovering, as if weighing a secret behind that digital door. Should she open it? Walk away? The silence in the room feels heavy, thick with unspoken truths. The tension is palpable, every beat of her heart echoing her doubts. What decision will she make? And what hidden truths are lurking just beyond her reach, ready to turn her world upside down once more? The email had been sent. The decision was made. Addison Walker, poised and composed, had just dealt the final blow. Yet the calm of her words lingers in the air, a thin veil over the storm inside. Her hand hovers over the mouse, a flicker of doubt in her chest. Was this the right choice? Was there something more she didn't see in that moment? Attention rises. The steady hum of the community center seems to intensify, filling her ears like a storm waiting to break. What would the fallout be? Would her professionalism hold strong against the chaos, or had she set in motion something far bigger than she could control? The email she had carefully crafted to sever ties with Harbor Point, the company that betrayed her, had been sent, officially ending a chapter that could never be undone. But now, Addison faces the question that remains. Was it the right call? She could have had her revenge, a swift blow to Victoria and Harbor Point, shaking the corporate world. But Addison wasn't driven by petty vengeance. Her ambition burned brighter than that. Her sense of self-respect, professionalism, and ambition guided her. The moment wasn't just about the email. It was about the shift, the turning point. In one move, she had shown everyone that her career would not be defined by betrayal. It would be defined by resilience, integrity, and strength. She stood tall, knowing the storm of consequences would follow, but she also understood that she had more power than she ever realized. Victoria's reaction? Addison could only imagine. Shock, disbelief, then the gut punch of realizing she'd not only lost Addison, but also North Bay, a major client, the same client Addison would now oversee. In one decision, Addison had turned betrayal into triumph. But was this the end, or just the beginning? What had she unleashed? Only time would tell. Addison Walker stood by the community center window, watching the city lights flicker beneath a fierce thunderstorm. The rain lashed at the glass, matching the storm inside her. Betrayal, frustration, but also something new. A quiet, burning resolve. She had just let go of her old job, severed ties with the company that once promised everything. The weight of it all, the crushing betrayal by her employer, was lifting. But in its place came something unexpected. Clarity. Was it revenge she wanted, or was it something deeper? The answer wasn't clear yet, but what Addison did know was this. Her strength wasn't in a paycheck or corporate approval. It was in standing tall, no matter how hard the storm raged around her. Her next move wasn't about striking back. It was about building something better on her terms. That afternoon, a message popped up on her LinkedIn from Jessica, the receptionist at Harbor Point. "Chaos," she wrote. "Victoria's been in emergency meetings all day. 3 other account managers are updating their resumes. Karma works fast." Addison didn't respond right away. Why gloat? She had more important things to focus on, like building her new team, finding the challenges that would shape her future. But later, she accepted Jessica's request with a simple message. "Thank you for your kindness during my time at Harbor Point. Wishing you all the best." It felt good. More than good, it felt like victory. Not the type of victory that comes from revenge, but from proving your worth, even when others overlook you. Her new role at North Bay offered opportunities she never would have had at Harbor Point. The recognition, it wasn't going to come from clinging to a past that didn't value her. It was going to come from carving out her own success. A year later, looking back, Addison realized something profound. Victoria's betrayal had given her a precious gift, the push she needed to see her true worth. The revenge she'd once thought she wanted? It had come naturally, not in some dramatic confrontation, but in the quiet decision to rise above. In the end, Addison didn't need to destroy Harbor Point. She only needed to build herself up,